Hi, today we learn about Angular lifecycle hooks. We have 8 Angular lifecycle hooks, but most of us, developers, will use only one or two lifecycle hooks usually. Today we learned about all this and what all these lifecycle hooks, what can be used here. Yeah, come to here. When we have a component, let's say I took a one component. If it is loaded, if the I take the component name as a form, if it is loaded, what all things it will trigger first and one by one. See, we know that now. First, we'll take ng on it. The most of us will use. It will be simple for us. In ng on it, I gave a name is equal to Rohit and I kept a console.log ng on it. When it triggers, this method triggers, it will be showing a console and this name. And in HTML, I'm binding. Uh, in div tag, I'm giving a name, just a define there. See what will it do. See, it's shown a Rohit here, and we can see a console. Ng on it. Okay, whatever came here. What it will do is that when ng on it, when we load this component, it initially it will trigger ng on it, this method, and whatever value we have, it will bind this data. Okay, that is a use of ng on it. Okay, and we learned about ng on it, the second one. Okay, and we use about ng on destroy. See how we'll use that one, ng on destroy. Okay, we have a method and I kept a console.log ng on destroy. Okay, let's check out where it will trigger. Now when we see, we got only ng on it. Only we got ng on it. ng on destroy we kept in console, it is not trigger. When it will trigger is that when we leave this component, then this method will trigger. Let's see now. I'm going back to another component. Can you see here? ng on it triggered and it is shown in the console. Means that it will this method will trigger when we leaving that component. Okay, when we are going back or going forward to another component, that time this method will be getting triggered. Okay, I will show you an example when it will be used, ng destroy. Okay, for example, we have an logic that it should one of the thing API or something it will be repeating. I use set interval and I gave I is equal to I plus 1. It will be looping here. This is the time per 1000 milliseconds, means 1 second. Per every second it will be looping and shown I value in console. Okay, let's see here. Can you see for every second this is going like this. For example, I am leaving out of this component. Now check, still it is going on there. Yeah, it is ng on destroy. These components came off, but still it is running. We want to stop that. So what we use that in ng on destroy, we use for stopping that, this will go to ng on destroy. We'll keep clear interval this dot x. We have given this dot x is equal to set interval, right? For that I'm clearing this. When we This says when we are leaving this component, it will be stopped. Okay, this logic should be stopped. We'll check this. See, it is running. Now I'm going back to another component, ng on it destroy, triggered, and stop the repeating of the values. Okay, this will stop the looping, or when we call APIs repeatedly when we want, and sometimes it will be stopping. The purpose at the time ng on destroy will be used. Okay, next we'll check other methods, lifecycle hooks. We have other rights. What this ng on change will do is that, for example, and I want to tell you, ng on change will trigger initially than before ng on it. Okay, it calls before ng on it, and whenever one or more data bound input properties change. Okay, if there is no data, note that if you component have no inputs or use it in without providing any inputs, the framework will not call ng on it. For example, we don't have inputs or we don't get data from your parent component, it will not trigger. I will show you that. Okay. For example, see, I created I kept like this is this form is a parent component for me. Okay, this is a parent component, and I created like a parent component and sending the data to lifecycle hooks. I created a component named lifecycle hooks, and this is my child component. Okay, and the parent data, it is coming from my input parent data. Whatever the data, whatever I change from my parent, it will come and it will trigger here ng on change. By using ng on change, we want to use here simple changes. We want to import this. Okay, and for example, if we got the data, parent data, immediately it will trigger and show here console. Let's check now. Okay, now see, when I click here, this child component has changed the value and send the data. Let's see in console. I want to show this. Okay, leave about, yeah, it is getting me tougher to see. Okay, now this ng on change, we got this object before ng on it when we have a data from the parent. Okay, we got previous value and current value as well. When we change this, but I will stop this looping first for your better understanding. Yeah, I'm commented this and this one as well. Okay, now we'll see. When we loaded, we have a parent data, so ng on it I will keep in console for your checking purpose. When we loaded this component, first it triggers ng on change first, and they have shown the parent data, what initial value is 0, and for example, and then it triggers ng on it. Means that in lifecycle hook, we know that it will trigger first ng on change and it will trigger next ng on it. If we don't have an input data from the parent, it will not show. As we have seen in example before, we use ng on it. For example, if we change the parent, I will take off this debugging. We can see ng on changing the parent data. Previous value is 0 and current value is 1. Okay, it is able to collect previous values and current values. If I click again, you can see previous value is 1 and current value is 2. Like that, we can collect the data of previous value and present value. Okay, let's come to other hooks we have. We have ng do change, ng after init. This all will trigger one by one. First, it will trigger this one if we have input. After that, it will trigger ng on it. After that, ng do change. After that, one by one, ng after component init, ng after connect checked, content checked, ng after view init, ng after view checked, ng on destroy. Okay, ng on destroy will trigger at last of the component. Okay, let's check all this. I will call the methods here itself, and I kept a console. When this component loaded, we'll see the order of the consoles when how this lifecycle events will trigger. Okay, simple. Just it loaded, just component loaded. I'm inspecting this. I'm seeing in the console. See, initially we get an object from parent. So first it triggered ng on it. After that ng on it. Sorry, ng on change, ng on it. Do check. After that ng after content init. After content checked. After view init. After view checked. Okay. Accordingly, what they gave in the document, it triggers in our console. Okay. This is the point we want to discuss, like lifecycle hooks when it will be triggered. A simple example. When I'm leaving this component, ng on destroy will trigger the 8. Okay, that is that we are learning today. Thank you.